Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining me. We're going to be talking about something today that is one of my favorite topics. It's a prebiotic, and it's called resistant starch, and it has so many profound effects on your gut microbiome that I just don't think people understand it, and they don't understand how to do it. So I'm excited to tell you about it because I think it could add a lot of helpful things to help benefit your body, benefit your microbiome, increase your immune system in a way that's very powerful. And it's, I'm constantly learning new things about the benefits of bacteria, prebiotics, probiotics, probiotic foods. But I'm learning especially what feeds those tiny microbes that keep us healthy and thriving all the time. It's been over 2 decades of eating fermented foods. And honestly, the discoveries I make never stop. For the last 20 years, they just keep coming. And something I've learned throughout the years is that you're only going to find your way if you're searching and reaching for wellness and you're looking to be well. If you tune yourself to wellness, you will find the answers for your life. And you've got to take it a little higher, learn a little bit more through each decade of your life because you change and you grow. And each decade gives you maybe different things that you're dealing with that you can learn to assist your body in healing and help it. And it's exciting to see my body keep pace with the things that I've learned. And I'm really grateful for the fact that it responds so quickly. So I want to pass on to you some of the things that I've learned and help to make you healthier by implementing key strategies that make your microbes thrive, and in turn, your body will just soar. So let's talk about resistant starch. Resistant starch is a type of fiber that plays a major role in digestive health, but it's also essential for achieving incredible overall health. And these special fibers aren't completely broken down and absorbed in the stomach or small intestine. Instead, they pass through to the colon and are converted into a short-chain fatty acid, which acts as a prebiotic to help feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. So let me explain this. For every 100 grams of fiber you eat, your gut ferments or makes 30 grams of bacteria. And this fermentation process is done by the microbes in your gut. It's not even the ones that we do when we ferment foods. This is done inside of you because you're a fermentation factory inside of you. You're just like the cultured foods that we make on the counter. That's happening inside of you. And it's necessary to achieve a powerful and robust immune system. So, fiber adds bulk and it creates this ability to reduce carcinogens to make contact with your cells because it creates a bulk in the body, in the gut. And fiber binds, like for instance, when you eat a lot of fiber, it will bind with cancer-causing compounds and bile acids and keep the gut in balance. That's what it does. That's how it works in your gut. And fiber is needed to make butyrate, which is a small chain fatty acid. And butyrate, guys, is so important. It's essential to a healthy gut. It's essential to your healthy immune system. It does so many things that I've written about it a lot because it's so important. And one of the health benefits of butyric acid is the ability to provide your colon cells with energy. And this special acid provides your colon cells with about 70% of their total energy that they need in a day. And researchers are finding that increasing this butyric acid is important especially for people who have irritable bowel syndrome and Crohn's disease. And I have also seen that it's very important for people with autism. That's very, very important. I had a friend, and that was something that she studied a lot about. Resistant starches resist digestion. This is why they're named that. And they don't feed us, they feed our bacteria. And they feed some of the most important bacteria, like bifidobacterium. These special resistant starches come in the form of carbohydrates and things like green bananas. Green bananas have a lot, not regular bananas. They have very small amount, but the green bananas have a lot. Oats have them, legumes have them, potatoes have them, rice has them. There's a lot of ones that have resistant starch. Those are just to name a few. But the important thing is to note that you have to eat these starches cold. So most people think like carbohydrates like oats, potatoes, and rice, they make their blood sugar spike, make you fat. they're loaded with density that causes you to gain weight. And it can be true, but take those same foods like potatoes and cool them down and make a new dish like potato salad. And those resistant starches actually work for you by actively reducing your blood sugar spikes and crashes. They reduce your hunger, they help with weight loss. And that's not all. There are 200 studies, and I'm going to link that in the description below, done on the benefits of resistant starches. And here's just a few. I said before, they lower blood sugar, they reduce hunger, aid with weight loss, they lower bad cholesterol, they improve digestive health, they prevent constipation, they help with IBS and Crohn's disease, they decrease inflammation, they boost immunity. But the key to all of this is to have these starches and these foods cold. So then they feed your bacteria and not you. Okay, so let me explain why. So when you heat the long starches that are in these foods, they break into simple sugars. But these simple sugars feed you and raise your blood sugar, right? But you cool those sugars down, cool that food down, and those sugars turn back into starch that can resist digestion. The higher the resistant starch content in a food, the fewer calories it will have. So basically, what happens is you don't get the calories from the food because it's cold, because it's a resistant starch after it's been cooled down, but it feeds your bacteria. And there are many, many ways to have these special starches that are quite delicious, and I give you a ton of recipes. I eat them almost every day. I do it a lot for lunch. I like to make I have like a kombucha black bean salad that I love to make. It's got legumes, and I eat that a lot in the afternoons or for lunch. And we've been led to believe that starches are bad for you. But if you do it right, and then you do the things that I tell you to do, and you make those starches and you let them cool down, they will do a myriad of health benefits for you. And they will feed your microbiome in a very powerful way. So let's talk about the types of Let's give you 10 foods high in resistant starch. So I said before, green bananas and raw plantains, those are very high. Your gut loves those. They're very high in resistant starch. Raw oats. I have a recipe for kefir breakfast pudding. And basically what you do is you put kefir in a jar, you put raw oats into it. I think it's chia seeds. Some fruit. I put some fruit in there. And then you kind of shake it all up. You can put a sweetener in there if you like. Usually you don't need it. And I'm going to link this recipe below. And then you shake it up. You let it sit in your fridge overnight. I mean, there's a million overnight oats recipes. And those are so good for you because raw oats have more resistant starch than cooked oats. They still have some after it's cooked, but not very many compared to the raw oats. And if you put them in a jar and overnight with some kefir, you're getting all kinds of benefits. Another good resistant starch is potatoes that are cooked and cooled like potato salad. That is a fantastic way to get more resistant starch in your diet. And you're going to have a lot less calories in your potato salad once it's cooled down. And because your body will resist digesting it and it will feed your microbes. And it's delicious. And I have a recipe for that too. Now there's something called potato starch. It kind of looks like cornstarch, but it is fantastic for like kefir smoothies. And you could just buy that. I'll link that below too. You can get it, put it in your smoothies. It makes your smoothies super creamy. And especially kefir smoothies, like I'll put a tablespoon in there and swirl it up. And it's a great way to get a lot of resistant starch into your diet. It's easy to use too. Another thing is legumes, white, black, kidney, and chickpeas, all cooled and cooked. The canned ones work really well. I've got a lot of recipes for these. And they have a ton of resistant starch in them. Now, another thing that has a lot of resistant starch is frozen peas. You can add them to, I always top my salads with peas. I always love them. And they thaw very, very quickly. So I keep them frozen and, they're cold. And so they don't have to be super cold to eat them. They just have to not be cooked and soft and warm. But they're great. Added to salads. I do it all the time. Rice, cooked and cooled. Sushi rice is a good example. If you have like sushi bowls or poke bowls, that's another good example of a resistant starch. Is to eat that rice cold. It's really good. And I have a really good recipe that I'm going to give you that I make with apples. And it's really good. I also have a rice pudding recipe that's really good. And I'll link all these recipes will be on the article in the description below. Lentils cooked and cooled, and you can top salads and soups with them. Those are also resistant starch. You can also buy green banana flour now, which is really fun to cook with. It's a little bit difficult to find unless you go online and find it, but even a spoonful of that to your smoothie, a kefir smoothie, is fantastic for you. And then another resistant starch that surprised me was sourdough pumpernickel or rye bread. It has 4 to 8 times as much resistant starch as bread made with wheat or barley. So, and I have recipes for that on there, but that's why one of the reasons why they always say rye bread is so good for you. And I really think it's because it has so much resistant starch in it. And pumpernickel has basically got rye bread in it too. But rye flour, I mean. And that's why everybody, always says it's one of the best breads to eat if you have problems because, you don't want it to make you gain weight and you want all the health benefits. Rye is one of the best ones for that. And that's because it has a lot of resistant starch in it. So I have so many recipes. Let me tell you, I've got an apple rice miso, which is really good and easy on your stomach. I use this all the time for meals. It's really good. I cook it in my Instapot, actually. I chop up the little apples and have chicken broth and a little bit of miso when it's done. And it's delicious. And it's delicious cold, too. I have a cultured chickpea sandwich. It tastes like a mock tuna sandwich. That's something super fast and easy to make. And you can do it on a salad or you can do it on a sandwich. And great to do it on rye bread. Double probiotic broccoli salad is a great one because that has chickpeas in it as well. And it's cold. And vitamin K is an essential nutrient that is needed for blood clotting. And this salad is loaded with that. And you'll get a lot of other special nutrients because you're getting probiotics in the salad too. All of these are mostly probiotic foods. A fermented fiesta dip, which I absolutely love, black beans and corn and jalapenos, tomatoes. Oh, it's carrots. It's really good. And it's one of my favorite little side dishes that I'll have for lunch often. Fermented hummus or hummus in general is fantastic for you to have. I love making my own hummus. I think it's better. A lot of the hummuses at the store are filled with oils that I don't like. I'm really picky about the oils that I eat because oils go into your cells and stay forever. Whereas if you eat good oils, it helps your cells to be more fluid and to do the things. If you don't want your body filled with, omega-6 oils or vegetable oils that aren't good for you. And so that's why I make my own. Actually, I don't even put oil in some of the hummus that I make. And I'll have to link that recipe. I have a recipe on here that's fermented, but I also have one that isn't fermented that's easy to make too, and I'll have to write that up for you. The Kefir breakfast pudding I told you about earlier, that's a fantastic way to get resistant starches in your diet, and you can make them so many different ways. You can. This is the time of year when I like to add pumpkin to my overnight oats, so it's oatmeal, a little couple scoops of pumpkin, some maple syrup. I put apples in it sometimes. I put all different kinds of fruit in mine. And you let it sit overnight, and it makes a really good breakfast treat. And it's ready as soon as you get up in the morning. Kefir rice pudding is so good. I love that for breakfast, too. And it's got cinnamon and all different kinds of like chai-type flavors in this rice pudding. If you ever had rice pudding, you'll love this. It's really good. It's got kefir in it. And the kombucha black bean salad, I told you about that earlier in the broadcast. It's one of my favorite summer dishes. It goes really fast in my house. Everybody loves that. And it tastes so good. It's got a splash of kombucha in it. It's got black beans, jalapenos. I make this all the time. And it's got so many legumes in it that feed, those are the resistant starches that feed you. My probiotic potato salad is delicious. I use kombucha mayo in it, which is fantastic. Makes this creamy potato salad. Kombucha mayo only takes 20 seconds to make, guys. You literally put it in a jar. You put oil in it. I usually put olive oil. I put some egg yolks. I put garlic and onion powder and mustard powder, I think is in there. May not have onion. I can't remember. And you put kombucha in it and some salt, pepper. And then you put a immersion blender in the jar. And in 20 seconds, you have the most delicious mayo you'll ever have. And then you stick it in the fridge and it gets super creamy. It kind of hardens a little bit, just like regular mayo. And it's not full of all those bad oils. And guys, it takes 20 seconds to make. It's life-changing. So it's just been one of my favorite things. It's something I make all the time because it's just something we use in different recipes, and I like having my own. And if you have to find some mayos that don't have some of the bad oils in them, like there's a couple out on the market, but they are really expensive. They're like $8 to $12 a jar, and we use a lot of mayo when we make salads and potato salads and things. So making your own is very, very inexpensive as compared to buying it, and it takes 20 seconds. And once you get in the habit of making it, you'll make it all the time, and it lasts in your fridge for a very, very long time. The kombucha kind of preserves it, so it's a wonderful alternative to buying store-bought mayo. And I'll link that description below too. It's a lot of fun to make, and you'll love it. And I have a video on it. You can Google that on YouTube too. Pumpernickel sourdough bread is one of my favorite recipes. It's really good. It's got the whole rye flour in it and the rye berry in it. And I also have just a plain rye sourdough bread, and I will link those descriptions below. And they are fantastic. There's just such good breads to have. I have toast almost every morning for breakfast. And one of my favorites is rye bread with raspberry jam. That's with a cup of coffee and my kefir smoothie. I just had that this morning for breakfast, and it's one of my favorite things. And I also have a white bean hummus. Now, white beans have more resistant starch than almost all the other beans put together. And I have a white bean hummus that's absolutely delicious that you would really like. And who doesn't like hummus? I mean, there's some people who don't like hummus, but I love hummus. And it's a great way. I love to serve it with all kinds of veggies and it's just a snack to have in the afternoon. It's just fantastic. So those are some of my suggestions. Resistant starch is really important for your body to have those resistant starches that feed the proper bacteria in your gut that allow you to really keep things in balance. And it's fun and easy and delicious to eat. And so it's also a way for you to have some of your favorite foods and not have all the weight gain from them that some people can have if you eat too many, starches. But these are fantastic foods that I love and I eat every day. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope you'll learn more. I hope that this resistant starch, I hope people start to understand how it works. I hope more and more people will start eating it because I really think it's make a huge difference in my health. And you'll see right away that you don't feel the sluggishness or tiredness if you eat these foods. You actually feel energized, and that's an important thing. You kind of listen to your body, pay attention to how you feel after you eat things, and see which foods agree with you and which don't, which help you, and you'll be surprised how wonderful these foods are. So all the recipes, I'm going to link the article with all the recipes in it below, and send me an email if you try them and see how you do with them. And let me know how you do, because it's made a huge difference in my life. So thanks guys for listening. Have a great week, and we will talk to you next time.